May I come in, sir? Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Siddhartha Sandhu. Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
And quickly introduce yourself to the board.
Sir, my name is Siddhartha Sandhu. I was born and brought up in Nagaur district of Rajasthan. I did my graduation as well as post-graduation from Udaipur. And for the last 2 years, I've been working as a sub-divisional magistrate. My hobbies are reading self-help books and watching war movies.
Watching war
Movies.
All right, sir.
So where are you working as STM?
Sir, I'm currently working in Rani, sub-division of Pali district.
Okay, Pali district. So what is your experience as working as STM?
Sir, experience was quite enriching and good. Because as an SDM, I am able to work at the grassroots level. So I've been...
What are the law and order issues in your district?
Sir, I've been fortunate to have as such a big issue in my subdivision as well. For example, sir, I've been posted in 5 months.
Pardon?
So I've been posted at Rani for the last 5 months, but there's no such big issue as such. Partly some issues arise from because national highway is passing through my subdivision, so there are sometimes accidents happen on the national highway.
Other than that, there is no...
There are no big issues.
And what about revenue cases? Do you handle?
Yes, sir.
So what kind of revenue cases they have?
So I have around 700 revenue cases currently in my court. And
What are the disputes?
sir?
What are the disputes mainly?
Sir, mostly they are related to the division of the land holdings. Then there are cases related to the right of passage when farmers want way through their farms. So under section 251A. Then sir, there are some...
How many cases you have decided? Have you decided any?
Sir, I couldn't able to attend the court because of the election. I've been attending the court for last 1 month, so I have disposed around...
In election you were posted?
Yes, I was.
Where?
In the Rani, sir.
No. Were you returning officer?
I was ARO, sir.
ARO. For which constituency?
Marwar Junction, sir.
So what you were handling that time?
So I was mostly handling the sweep activities and mostly law and order related basic sectors.
There has been allegation of that EVM can be tampered. So what is your opinion on this?
Sir, after watching all the process from the commissioning to the voting and the counting, I believe, sir, rigging of EVM is almost impossible. Because number one, sir, there is no outside connection to this. It's mostly running on the analog system. So there's no rigging from the outside. Secondly, sir, there are so many checks and balances that are involved in this. So
how do you assure public that there is no hanky-panky in this? Is there a process to do that?
Sir, currently during election and before the election, we have this electronic EVM demonstration centers established all over the constituency. So through this, we inform them and make them aware about how to cast their vote. What are the main problems that can be.
How the people can be assured that you are not doing anything hanky-panky?
Sir, on the main poll day, we conduct mock test.
Mock test, that is one. And before that?
So before that, sir, we have this procedure where...
Randomization.
Randomization, yes, sir. Randomization is...
That was the answer. Okay. And there is another issue of financing of elections.
Magnifier.
Supreme Court has recently disallowed this bond, electoral bonds. So what is your opinion on this? And under which provision they disallowed?
Sir,
Supreme Court.
so free and fair election is the basic foundation, I believe, for a healthy democracy.
Okay.
And the Supreme Court, argument of the Supreme Court that it promotes opaqueness regarding the election financing and the donors, I believe, sir, it's a step in the right direction. It was quashed under Article 19 of the Constitution.
19.1. Okay, what was it?
So it was right to information about who is giving donation to which political party.
Okay, so what is the alternative to this, in your opinion? How can we do this? Financing, how it can be done?
Sir, so there are lots of committees that have recommended various things. One could be the state financing, but given the number of political parties that we have, it seems somewhat impossible. I would not say impossible, but it's difficult and impractical. Secondly,
Second, please.
so I believe, sir, the transparency of the election funding can be a right step, and it's in the right direction, because people should be known that who are financing which political parties, so that people can make an judicious decision during the voting.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Siddharth,
Sir.
you are working in RAS, Rajasthan.
Sir.
There are a lot of allegations about paper leakages and
Sir.
in Rajasthan.
Sir.
How the credibility of any exam will be there if there are so many complaints? What is your take on that?
Sir, RPSC, the authority which is conducting the examination, it is definitely infamous because there have been lots of paper rigging. But sir, things have been changing. For example, recently in the last 1 week, SOG has arrested many gangs that are involved in this. So police action is being taken against those. Further, sir, state government has also passed an act against the culprits who are involved in these activities. So these are also.
These are the post-mortem results after the damage is done.
Sir.
How to prevent it? What you are in now administrative services,
Sir.
and you may also be part of the system which conducts exam in different centers.
Sir.
How to ensure that this type of thing does not happen in future? What is in your mind? How it can be done?
Sir, number one would be to establish a single authority from conduction of the examination, from printing papers to checking, to collection and checking. The second would be, sir, a randomization of the papers. For example, sir, generally it happens that for one paper, 3 sets of papers are being asked. From this, through various randomization, questions are selected. So I believe the number of paper can be that are being asked from the various professors, that can be increased. For example, this time happens, sir, during our 3rd grade PT examination. I was fortunate because my collector, he was involved in this conduction of the election. And he told me that for each one question, he asked 50 alternate questions he had. And he did such a thing, he exercised in such a way that there is a proper randomization and no particular paper from a particular professor can become.
This is one way, but there is another problem is about dummy candidates.
Sir.
No.
Sir.
That is another big challenge. Somebody else goes and appear for a candidate.
Sir.
And that is in hand in glove with the people on duty.
Sir.
So how to check that?
So number one would be to install CCTV cameras to properly identify the candidates. Checking with their identity card, it's not done properly. Thirdly, sir, the invigilator in the school, mostly it has been seen that they are from the staff only. So there's a high chances of rigging during that session. So
UPSC had done recently something. Are you aware?
I'm sorry, I'm not aware about this.
They want latest photo with a date. Picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's also a good step to identify the face of the
And why the state, this Public Service Commission can't learn from UPSC? They can take their advice.
Sir, actually we are learning, sir. For example, the recent exam that were conducted, they were rigging
Civil services exams are conducted on pan-India basis, while your exams are only state-based.
Sir.
And still this problem arises.
Sir, it has been seen that most of the exams that have been leaked, they are objective in nature. So it's become slightly easier to leak the exam. I'm not saying, sir, it's not possible in other exam in the descriptive type, but it's a small exam, the problem of leakages is more.
Okay, let us. You tell me, in the recent budget, interim budget of Rajasthan, some benefits, some extra benefits have been given to farmers or for agriculture sector. Are you aware of that? What has been done for that?
I'm sorry, sir, I haven't actually read
your
the
own
budget.
state budget I'm talking about.
Sir, I know there was a scheme for food processing where 40% of the subsidy was provided for the investment of 1 CR, but I am not actually aware of
They have
this.
given even a higher price than MSP for wheat. they have given bonus. Are you aware of that? Farmers in Punjab are fighting for MSP.
Sir.
But Rajasthan government has given higher than MSP.
Sir, yes, sir. In two or three crops, the MSP is higher than other states. At the same time, sir,
So you tell me one thing, when Rajasthan can give higher than MSP, why not these states, much prosperous states like Punjab, Haryana can't do it? Why the farmers have to agitate in these states?
so number one is the scale at which the procurement happen in Punjab and Haryana is very higher. For example, sir, 60% of the MSP acquisition of the crops happens in Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP. So the number is large comparative to Rajasthan, sir. Rajasthan has less number, sir.
But it is a state, agriculture is also a state.
So,
If state government is so concerned about the welfare of their farmers, they can give higher MSP also. Why they depend on center every time?
Sir, so number one is the resources, fiscal deficit can go higher if we give MSP to the farmers. Secondly, sir, it has been seen that MSP distort crop in some crops, then it is against the spirit of diversification that we are currently doing in agricultural crops. So mostly it has been
Central
seen.
government gave them an offer of diversification, 5 crops they said.
Sir.
They did not accept it.
Sir, the farmers are reluctant to change because of the traditional farming that they are doing.
Let's move out to that. You have given watching war movies.
Sir.
What do you take out after seeing these war movies?
Sir, so one is the understanding of the historical context. By watching the war movies, you understand the historical context of what event led to, what were the reason behind any war, what events, what were the ramification, or what were the impact around the globe.
Every time war has a destructive effect, either for both the sides. Somewhere less, somewhere more.
Sir.
But still people countries go for war.
Sir.
What is your take? How is there can be any situation in this war can be avoided in future?
Sir, what we are seeing, sir, war is definitely an state level action. What we need is a greater people-to-people contact and interconnectedness, because it is the people who bear the brunt of the war.
Okay, my last question. You have taken pole science and IR,
Sir.
but you have given IFS at option number 5. It does not match with your interest. You are showing interest in international relations,
Sir.
and opting for IFS at option 5. Why?
Sir, I want to remain in the country and to serve at the grassroots level, because IAS provide me important and more opportunities.
You have
to
left
do
your
that.
own subject, economics.
Sir. So I was more interested in IR perspective. That's why I took this.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, Siddhartha. Is Rajasthan safe for tourists?
Yes, ma'am. Rajasthan is comparatively safe.
Comparatively? What do you mean?
If you see, there hasn't been any big crime, or I would say violence against the tourist in Rajasthan. So I believe, ma'am, that it is safe, because Rajasthan is known for its hospitality. People are very amicable and hospitable to the tourist, and we have this culture of Padharo Mare Desh, where we welcome tourists with open hearts. So very less chance that there might be any violence against tourists.
And has Rajasthan fully exploited its tourism potential?
No, ma'am, it's growing. Actually, we are seeing.
How much does it contribute to your economy?
Ma'am, it's contributing around 15% of the GSDP of Rajasthan.
15. Can it increase?
Yes, ma'am. Various circuits have been made in Rajasthan to exploit the opportunities. For example, Rajasthan is taking steps in the ecotourism. Usually, Rajasthan is known for its historical places, for example, forts and palaces. But we are seeing that Rajasthan is taking step in the ecotourism. For example, Kumbhalgarh, Jawai, Kumbhalgarh, Sariskar, and Thambore, these are emerging as a hub for ecotourism in Rajasthan. Further, we are also taking step in the village tourism and the community level tourism. For example, sir, Piplantri model of Rajasthan is very famous. Piplantri model. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the Piplantri, the villagers have cultivated their own style of tourism. Eco hub has been formed. local handicrafts have been promoted. So it has become a good example of studying the grassroots level development, how at the grassroots level people can develop themselves. And it has also become an important step in the women empowerment. For example, ma'am, in Piplantri, whenever a girl is born, 11 tree is planted. So that is also very important step in the women empowerment. So many, for example, ma'am, in our training, we also visited there to see how the grassroots level people can be developed. So that's one also. Similar villages are also being developed.
And there's one temple, very famous place, right? The only temple of one of our gods in India. Where is?
Pushkar, ma'am, Brahma temple.
Why is it that we only have one temple of Brahma? There's no other temple.
Ma'am, I believe that most of the gods that we revere today, they are the reincarnation of Brahma. It is said that. So again, ma'am, I'm not aware of the actual reason, ma'am.
Have you been to Pushkar?
Yes, ma'am, I have been.
You obviously don't know the difference of opinion, the war, or sort of war nahi, the battle of wits between Bhagwan Vishnu and Bhagwan Brahma about the origin of Bhagwan Shankar, the Anadi Anant, which is why ब्रह्मा जी का टेम्पल नहीं है और केतकी फूल को पूजा में चढ़ाया नहीं जाता है. Read about
There's
it,
one
please.
smaller
Story.
There's a story.
Yeah,
Wife.
about his sin.
Wife.
Because it's a very important place historically, right? And of course, you also have that camel fair. Does that still continue?
Yes,
What was the purpose of it? Has it changed over the years? Has it evolved? What do you see as the role for it now?
I actually haven't visited it, but earlier camel fair used to, or any animal fair was organized to showcase the breed of the camel, and further there were lots of merchants that used to come to buy those animals. So the main purpose was to trade.
My last question, we talked about war. So don't you think we are perpetuating war to fuel the pockets of the armament industry?
Ma'am, it is one of the allegations. For example, the US intervention in Iraq, it is often been accused that it was driven by the arms lobby because there was no direct reason to do that intervention. So it is one of the allegations, ma'am.
No other connection you see?
Ma'am, of course there are other connections like there are many geopolitical reasons are also there for the war.
Okay. No, thanks. Move on. Yeah.
Siddharth, good evening. We met last time.
Yes.
So what were the questions asked?
Sir, actually we couldn't continue because of the internet connectivity.
Yes. So we stopped in between.
Yes.
So many times we keep hearing about weakening of rupee, performance of rupee.
Yes.
So any recent steps taken by government or the RBI to strengthen rupee?
Sir, the value of rupees is determined by the export competitiveness of a country, and there are other many reasons as well. For example, capital flight and inflation. These are some factors which determine the values of the rupee.
So these are all traditional. So nowadays there has been something that is trending, because of which rupee might become stronger.
I'm sorry, sir, I am not actually aware of this.
Internationalization of rupee?
Yes, sir. We are moving towards internationalization of rupees. For example, sir, we are promoting UPI-based payment in various countries.
So how does it strengthen rupee?
Because it is increasing the demand of the rupee in comparison to other countries, so it led to appreciation of the currency, sir.
So it also on one side lead to de-dollarization.
Yes, sir. That is.
Okay. So next question. In long run, money and money alone is the reason for inflation, is the only reason for inflation. Who made this statement and why?
Sir, there is one strand of policy that is monetarist. Milton Friedman was the main exponent of the monetarist policy, and according to him, the only reason for the inflation is the amount, is the supply of money in the economy. So that drives the everything.
No, fine. What is the reason that he made the statement?
So I'm not actually aware of the theory, but money, we actually every day's activities is done through money, and money lead to increase in disposable income in the with the people. So that creates demands, and if supply is not matched with the demand, if there is a mismatch between demand and supply, then that lead to inflation in the country.
There is something more you are missing. Fine, read about it. So in terms of economic depression, so currently some 2-3 countries have slipped into recession. Are you aware of it?
So Japan is one country which is in the constant recession because of the economic growth is in negative. I'm actually aware of one country only.
Okay, so there are reasons for it. Debt trap, interest rate trap. So read about it. So my question is, what is the difference between recession and depression, growth and bubble?
So recession is happening when there is a negative growth rate for 2 consecutive quarters, and when this prolongs, then a country get into recession.
Then a country get into
Recession.
okay.
What was the other?
Depression.
Depression when there is a negative growth rate for 2 consecutive quarters, then we can say a country is in.
Reverse. Check out it. So growth and bubble.
Growth and
Bubble.
growth bubble.
Growth and bubble, two separate. Economic growth and economic bubble. How do you distinguish?
Economic growth can be described as increase in the values of goods, commodities, and services. That is the actual GDP that we say. Economic bubble can be said, for example, sir. I'm not able to put in the words, sir. I'm sorry. I will read about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In your DAF, I noticed a place which was a birthplace of a very, very famous Bhakti saint.
Yes, sir. Sir, it was Mirabai. I belong to that.
I've been to that to her house. What was the punishment given to her for defying social norms, and she survived it?
Sir, she was poisoned, but she recovered and it didn't.
All right. Nagaur, one hears, is the only place where Baba Nagauri introduced such a social reform that changed the food habits of the people of Nagaur. What was it?
I'm sorry, sir. I actually haven't. I'm not aware of this. Actually, I will read about this.
Muslims.
Yes, sir. He was the Suravati sect of Sufi, but I'm not aware of the dietary habit that he introduced.
He adapted to the local customs to the extent that all the Muslim butchers, they threw away the knives and everything, and therefore there was for almost few hundred years there was pure vegetarianism in Nagaur area. अभी कुछ 30-40 साल में खुल गई हैं कुछ butcher shops, but it used to be a pure vegetarian area. I'm sure your grandfather would be knowing.
Yes, very much.
Okay, please read about it. Nagaur and vegetarian this thing. Okay, when you say war, now I'm asking you your comments on war is politics through other means. And that's the somewhat Clausewitz kind of line of thought. Whereas Suzhou and Confucian thought in Chinese warcraft is all about winning the opponent without fighting a war. Is that the reason why China does not actively engage in all-out war anywhere? And what exactly is China's mindset when it engages in any kind of bully tactics or any kind of battle?
So China mainly uses the grey warfare that we say. It's a war which
Explain.
it's less than the hot war, but it is constantly incursion in the territory, which is they called salami slicing techniques that they are using in the South China Sea. They are all also using in our northern Indian border. So they are making incursion, but they are not taking it to the level where it can turn into a full-blown war. So they are mostly employing a psychological warfare. That we are seeing.
All right. Now, switching to your hobby of watching war films. I'm giving you 3 examples: Dunkirk, Schindler's List, uh, Saving Private Ryan. And I'm giving you the example of Indian films: Border, LOC, Hakikat, Ye, Wo. What is the significant difference between the 2 styles of war films, war movies?
Sir, the first one is the realism. I believe that Western or Hollywood movies, they show the realist perspective of the war, where in Indian context we tend to romanticize the war.
So there is presence of some heroines and there are some songs,
There are songs as well.
and the stories are loosely based on true events.
So in the Indian film they are loosely based, whereas in the Western context they are more or less based on.
Which Indian film do you or web series or whatever would you rate as closest to pure reality of the war?
Sir, LOC can be the one which we can say is the closest to the reality. Because the most of the events that were described in the movie, they were actually happened. Most of the characters were also there. So I believe Sir LOC can be.
Hakikat had all the right stories. Lakshya also substantially. The Forgotten Army substantially. Have you seen The Forgotten Army?
I haven't seen the Forgotten Army, and I'm trying to. I'm looking for Hakikat, but I haven't seen the movie. I have read about it, but I'm not.
Substantially based on the just
I heard that it was on 1962.
episode. Your interview is over. Chaliye, carry on.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
भेज
All
दिया
the best.